we are done with the evaluation right now. I would like to call Samir Nayak for its evaluations and general evaluations.
Good evening, friends. So it's not the general evaluation. We'll be having a different section in this special meeting. Since it's the 200 chapter meeting, we wanted to speak to you, all the presidents of this club. We had 7 presidents so far, and they have a story to share. So I'll request all the club presidents of BMC Software to please come out and join me in this session. Maybe you can stand in the order in which you can be presidents. I think Santosh was the second one. Then we had Samruddhi, Sitesh, Sujit, Paresh, and we had Suhas. All the members of this club are special. All the club officers of this club are special. And the presidents are specialists. To share the story that I have when I took up the term as a club president, different members were enrolling for the meeting. It was for the first time we were having a public speaking platform in BMC Software. Very soon I realized in the 5th chapter meeting that there were 5 categories of members who had registered. The first category was the hostages. The hostages were the ones who were forced by their managers to join Toastmasters club because we had promoted so much. They were the ones who needed this platform. They were the ones who would improve by joining this platform. Second interesting category was, if there were hostages, there were also terrorists. The terrorists were the over-smart, overconfident people who would shoot down the hostages during the evaluations with their command over the language or not being having the right tone during the speech evaluations. And they would make sure that the speaker would not come for the next speech. The third category was the vacationist, language evaluator. Please note. This category was the people who had come on a vacation when they came to the club, just for fun and entertainment. They were the ones who were opting for the table topics, nothing else. We don't want to be the members. Just table topics, that's it. Okay. And then the last category, or the second last one, which was the seekers, the scholars, who wanted to grow in their public speaking skills, who wanted to grow in their leadership skills. And this is the dream we had. The club was being charted for those. Interestingly, there was one last category also, which was the seekers or the tourists. And the tourists were ones who were coming for one chapter meeting or the second chapter meeting and disappearing after that. So they were seeking something. I'm not sure what exactly it was. They didn't get it probably over here. As a president, my job was to make sure that my team would recognize these categories, make sure we identified the hostages, we identified the terrorists, had a word with those terrorists, had a word with the vacationists and the seekers, and provided the platform for which it was charted. Thank you. With that, I'll hand it over to the second club president, Toastmaster Santosh.
When I look at my tenure as a president, I can correlate it with Shah Rukh Khan doing some films like Bazigar in his initial career, which is not a hero. He's anti-hero in that movie, but a hero. So I compare that with my tenure because during that period, I was named as president. There are VP Education, there are other team members, but those were tagged. Those were tag of those titles, but everyone was doing everything. Shah Rukh Khan doing a villain, so everyone was doing, VP Education was doing something wherein he has to lead an event. Similarly, the person who is responsible for promoting the club in the BMC was also suggesting educational points. So that was the state in which the club was. But I felt that that gave all the committee members an excellent opportunity to learn everything that a committee can do together. So later on, we had the same members playing different roles in a different tenure. So that was my experience during my tenure. Over to the third president. Hello, Toastmasters and guests.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you. We're into the next level where everyone was doing everything. Now we segregated. We have people expertise. I mean, if you said VP PR, he'll do PR activities, and we have PR tribes. We plan to do so. But we succeeded at least 50%, saying we'll have roles for each and every one, and people are doing their best to achieve it. There were challenges, but still we enjoy doing it. That's the best part. And the best part is, and the bestest part. One of my friends say, you are my bestest friend. So the bestest part is Samir guiding us each and every place. So that is there throughout the Toastmasters club in BMC from the inception till now. So that is something which encouraged each and everyone to join the club. He was not there in any of the roles, but he said like, okay, I'm there in the first place, and he was the first one to say like, okay, we want this thing to happen, and people were ready to work for it, and that was the entire team of Toastmasters executive committee, and I really enjoy working in. Starting with as a member, then I moved to Sergeant at Arms, then till President. I enjoyed each and every part of it, and the best part I liked it is the speeches I had an opportunity to hear, and the evaluation. And the best part, another important thing is the importance of listening. I was a bad listener, even I'm not a good listener now. Still, I improved a lot. So that is something which I learned from Toastmasters. Thanks to Toastmasters Club and everyone to give me that platform. Thank you. Over to Sujit.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, by the time I became president, it was a very different journey. So I was all set in the Toastmasters forum, and we were having these discussions about having the XCOM meeting, and I had a discussion with Samir, and I told him, hey, I'll take the treasurer role. That's what I'm good at. But then he said, no, treasurer, let that experience go to someone else who is non-finance guy. Let the non-finance guy manage the finance, and you take some other role. I was very skeptical to take the role as a president, but then finally I thought, I'm already a manager. If I become a president, I will let the VPs work for me. So that's how I became the president. And this journey has been, kind of multiple advantages for me personally, and for the club and for the company as well. So when I became president, there was a lot of changes. I started to explore a leader within me. So it's not that I was not a leader, I was a leader, but I was not exposed to the external world. So since I became the president, I was here on the dais every Friday. I have to be here. So that's one. So I was in front of the Toastmasters. Then I was in front of the leaders. Rohit is here. Other leaders are here. And then Tarun and Vinita, who was our mentor at that time. So getting that exposure to get in front of these guys, senior leaders, getting a lot of mentoring from them, I think that happened because I was the president, and we always needed to talk to them because this is a program that our leadership team is sponsoring at BMC. So obviously their help and their mentorship is very important. And then the journey, took a second fold, wherein I was attending these OTP programs, and that's where I met, senior Toastmasters like Prasad, Shirish, and Mukta, and that exposure to the external world started. I started meeting with different clubs. I visited different clubs. I performed different roles at different meetings in different clubs. Be a judge at some contests. We hosted few contests here while I was president. That was a great honor for us to host some contests here. And then the journey is really continuing in terms of my development. And now my Deutsche Bank friends are here. So I'm their mentor. I'm helping them to set up the club there. We are already going very nicely over there. And in terms of at BMC, I got multiple opportunities to host some big events. everything, whatever I have said, it is not possible without Toastmasters. And I would personally like to thank Samir. First of all, actually he was the guy who brought me here, because I was listening to him in one of the town halls, and because of his speech I inspired and I got here, and then he pushed me for that president thing, and that's how, it's a great journey. So over to Paresh. Thank you.
Yeah, so I was a vacationist in his terms. I joined back in the ICC days just for the fun of extempo speaking in the table topics. And then he gradually pulled me into the executive committee. I became the VP Education and then president in the last term. What has changed in me after being a president is I've got tremendous respect now for everybody who manages a voluntary organization. When I'm a manager, and I know it's very easy when you have paid employees working in your team. That's also in a difficult job anyway. We spoke about it. But when you have so many things to offer, right? There are so many things that you can offer in terms of awards and benefits and promotions and titles. As against, in a voluntary organization, you have very little to offer against the contribution that the club members do. And it's all based on their own self-motivation. And that's a big difference in managing a voluntary organization and managing a commercial organization. And that was a big lesson that I learned. And as I said, my respect has gone not only for all these presidents, but for all the office bearers. It's one more job they're doing along with their day job or at BMC to keep the club running, which is making better leaders, better communicators within BMC. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank all the office bearers so far, almost 50 of them in the last 4 years. And I also want to kind of share, if he wants to share a story from the tenure, is the importance of pushing your envelope, right? I mean, at some incident, one of our club members agreed to host a division level contest. None of us was ready back at the office. And he kind of, oh, you made a commitment already? And then we said, okay, if it's done, then it's done. And if you don't know, it's a very big event. Right? It's an event which you don't run in a small place like this. You need the entire area. You'll have several members from all over the city coming in. And it's a big contest where people have already passed 3 levels and it's a 4th, 5th level for them. And we said, we'll do the best that we can and the best that any corporate has done. And I thought if that member had not dropped a hat then saying, we'll win, we'll run for it, we would not have done that. So I think having bigger aims than you normally aim for is also important, and that's the lesson that I learned from that tenure. So thanks a lot again for that. Thank you.
Speaking after all this, like huge leader speak, it's a bit scary, but I'll start with a question. How many of you seen DDLJ? Right? And how many of you know the character of Amrish Puri? Everyone, right? Being a club president is similar to that. You come off as a villain to some people. Sometimes you have people pulling you this way, you have other ex-com people pulling you this way, that way. And you have so many differences between even your ex-com members, within other club members. But the fact is, just like Amrish Puri in that movie, you have to take care of your club. You have to take care of your members in the same way that Amrish Puri cares about his daughter. So even if you appear as a villain to other members, other ex-com members, your friends as well, you still have to think about one thing, that is the club is the first thing that comes to you. The club members are the most important to you. So that's the one thing I've learned from this experience. And just like Sujit, even I was skeptical about being a president, and I even in fact went and told Samir about this. But then Samir looked at me and he said, I see something in you. And I'm very happy that I became club president. This is an amazing club and I have a very great ex-com members over here. Some of them are still in this room. And this is the first time ever that the area director came to us and she told us that you can be a Diamond Club Award this year. You can vie for the Diamond Club Award this year. And we looked at her and we said, we'll do it. So thank you for that, and I hand it back over to Samir.
At this point, we are missing 2 people. One is the 3rd club president, which was Toastmasters Samruddhi Patil. And she took the club as, before her term as a club president, she was the vice president education, and then before that she was a club treasurer. And the second person we missed today is the senior management member, who was Vinita Gera, who helped us charter this club. She gave us all the support. At the same time, she had questioned us really hard when we had proposed this idea that we want to charter a club. She was just ensuring that we were on the right track, we had the right dream and the right vision. So at the start of this speech, I mentioned that these all are specialists. And why they are specialists? So here's one reason for that. We see them speaking today over here. During their term as a club president, they never got a chance to host a milestone meeting. And these are the stories of sacrifice. Though you're good in oratory skills, when you take that choice, you make that choice that you're going to sit on the back seat because someone else can do that job. Maybe not the best, but probably good. When you do that kind of a sacrifice, I believe it's a sign of a mature leader. And today when they stand tall over here, I have a confidence that even if you tell them in morning 8 o'clock that you have to host an event at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they have the competency to do it. And this competency comes with that sacrifice, that maturity that they have shown during their term. Thank you.